Hi, heidi ho. So the message for today is about making contracts, pledges with idolatry. So those who have been following me know that it's something that apparently Hashem has placed in my heart. I'm very big on the Gregorian calendar and not using it. So having a sun day, so you're worshiping the sun god. So every year in the middle of winter, they have this big to-do, and they have this big ball that's a luminary that drops in this place called Times Square with those individuals who gave you the Time Zone Act. So anyway, Julius Caesar, obviously everybody should know this by now, or a lot of people don't, but it's sad, created the Julian calendar, and Pope Gregory modified it, and it's the Gregorian calendar everybody's following, and you're following the bankers' holidays, which is all out in the open. And they tell you it's a time zone act. It's not the actual time, so it's an act. And you can look these things up, and it has to do with the Gregorian calendar year 1966, the Time Zone Act, and the Minister of Transportation. But anyway, idolatry. So that's sun worship. It's worshiping the sun. Like I said, they even gave you a sun day. And then Monday was actually New Moon Day because they had to get the Ivrit, which would be the Hebrews, and those who call themselves Christians now to follow that calendar. Nowhere in even a Christian's Bible does it say Pope Gregory created the sun and the moon, nor does it say Julius Caesar did. And it does say you're not supposed to follow those things. So anyway, it leads me to things like a kosher zodiac. So I'm gonna put an image of a kosher zodiac. So according to the Hebrew calendar, what the zodiac signs are. So the month of Tevet, the month of my birth during this life. So Tevet 6th is my birth date. The holy year, the year of our Abba, mother and father, 5727. So that would be December 19th, 1966, in the calendar of the idolatry. So anyway, it makes a big difference whose calendar we're following and what time we're following. The year begins in spring, Nisan. The head of the months is the month of Nisan. That's when Passover is. That's when all animals give birth to their young. Birds fly north in Nisan in the spring. They start hatching eggs in the spring. So anyway, that's when life all comes back. Everything comes back to life. Flowers start to bud. It's Nisan. So anyway, we'll take somebody like someone like myself, and then we'll say somebody like I like to look up actors and actresses. So Alyssa Milano, December 19th, 1972. So my entire life I was taught that I had to use that Gregorian calendar. I had to sign everything with that Gregorian calendar. I had to use that Gregorian calendar date, which is Ra, and anybody that pushes that is Rasha. They're wicked. So Alyssa Milano thinks she's a Sagittarius, and she's actually a Capricorn. It makes a big difference. So you can go on Google, and you could do a Hebrew date conversion, and you can convert from the Gregorian calendar to the Hebrew date and find out what actual month and day you were born in according to the Lord's calendar, Abba's calendar, God's calendar, Hashem's calendar, the All's calendar, Allah's calendar, however you want to look at source. Anyway, you're supposed to be following that Hebrew calendar. And December 19th is Sagittarius, like I said. But the month of Tevet is Capricorn. It makes a big difference. Why does it make a difference? So you look at all the perversions and the issues that we're having in relationships and all this, that, and the other. There is truth. Even though you're not supposed to follow those who practice necromancy and who look at the stars, there's a reason for it. And it's because if you don't know what you're looking at, you can mislead somebody. So somebody who thinks they're a Sagittarian or whatever, Someone may think they're a Capricorn and they end up being a Sagittarius. So like my sister, who's a year younger than I am, she thinks she's a Capricorn and she's actually a Sagittarius if she is following the right calendar. So anyway, who you are evenly meshed with, who you're compatible with, there is truth to that. So we go back to the biblical story of Joseph and Potiphar's wife. She practiced divination, and so did Potiphar. He was a high priest of Israel. He was a priest, so he practiced those things. She saw in the stars that her bloodline was meant to have Joseph's child, and there was truth in that. But the truth wasn't that it was going to be her. It was actually their daughter. So if you remember, Pharaoh gave Joseph Potiphar's daughter to marry, to wed, and he ended up having Ephraim and Manasseh. So he ended up having children with her bloodline, but it wasn't with her. So there's truth in the stars, but it's how you read the stars, and you have to be following the right calendar, and you have to know the right time. So if you think that the time is 1600 hours and it's actually 2200 hours, so when the sun's set, the day's in, and that's the time that you follow. So you could take your watch and set it, and every day you'll know when the sun sets because your watch will be set to the sunset. So that's the end of the day. When the sun goes down, the moon rules over the night, the sun rules over the day. Day begins at night. So first there was evening, and then there was boker, morning, one day. So that's a day, 24 hours. So there's 12 hours in the day, 12 hours at night. So anyway, it does matter. So who are you compatible with as far as mating with somebody, being in a biblical union with someone? As someone from your tribe. And your tribe doesn't necessarily mean the color of your skin, or because that's the coat of many colors. It means somebody who is spiritually meshed with you. And it could be somebody from any nation, because after all, Yisrael is among all the nations. There's little hints that we can find if we actually read Torah and Tanakh. So not everybody in the house is Israel. So any rabbi, a good rabbi, is going to tell you it doesn't matter that somebody was born and they believe they're a Jew. They're not necessarily a Jew. And only HaMashiach will know who is an actual Jew. So it's two from a house, one from a city. There's deep spiritual meaning in that. That means that not everybody in the same family is evenly meshed. Not everybody in the same family is tribe. So we'll say a soul tribe. So anyway, I'm going to put up the Hebrew conversion, so the Hebrew months with the zodiac sign for each Hebrew month. Do a conversion. Go to Google. It's not that hard. Do a conversion on your birth date, your Gregorian calendar birth date, and look at the Hebrew. You may be surprised. You may be pleasantly surprised. And it may actually make some things click. Because your entire life, if you believed you're one sign and you're another sign, you were born under another sign, then those people that you thought were compatible, and you were racking your brain trying to figure out why in the hell things didn't work out with that individual, or maybe they weren't meant to work out because you weren't actually compatible if you were following the right calendar. But it also means that you should, if you're going to communicate with other people and you're looking for your soul mate and your soul tribe, you should know what their signs are. And not according to the Gregorian calendar, according to the Hebrew calendar, according to Hashem's calendar. That's the message for today. God bless. Much love.